Again, I say video is not always the best teacher. You have to
No,
get in
not at
people's
all.
face times and let them know that, look, bottom line is if you're caught doing this, this will be your last day.
Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Safe Talk. This is episode 8. We're going to be discussing racism and sexism at the workplace. We're excited for this episode, but before we introduce our wonderful guest, Brian, how are you doing today, sir?
I am doing good. Thank you, sir. I'm very well. I'm excited about these subjects. It's tough subjects. I like this show because we get to tackle these tough subjects. And I want to thank you and welcome Jeannie for being a brave guest to give us a first person perspective on these things. And we can talk about racism, but the female sexism I've never experienced. Looking forward to hearing some examples from real life about these things, these challenging subjects.
Yeah.
And now a word from our sponsor, TrakGO. To celebrate Small Business Month, TrakGO is offering you a chance to experience the power of their time clock software completely free for the first month. The simply better employee time clock software that is going to make your life easier. TrakGO already has a unique graphical employee time card, and that will help you quickly identify and fix the mistakes.
TrakGO just announced the addition of automatic PTO accrual earnings, so you can say goodbye to those manual calculations. And TrakGO integrates with your favorite payroll systems, including QuickBooks, Gusto, ADP Workforce Now, Paychex, and more. Don't miss out. Take advantage of this special offer. Use the link in this post to start your 14-day trial in the month of May to qualify for your first month free. Let's go.
Let's go.
Perfect segue. And with that being said, we have our wonderful guest on, Jeannie Morrell. She's based out of California. She is a self-described payroll nerd with payroll passion.
That's right. That's right. I
Oh.
remember your headline is very memorable because when Walt
Yes.
sent me your profile, I was like, oh, I know this headline. I've read this before.
So I'm excited about when people want to talk about payroll. I'm like, oh, yes, let's sit down and discuss.
Oh, gosh. So tell us how you got into payroll.
I actually got thrown into it. It
Mhm.
wasn't something that I sought out. I had a boss who was very instrumental in helping me to understand my worth and helping me to understand what I brought to the table. Because when you're surrounded by people that know their jobs and they're really good at what they do, you get a little bit of intimidation, especially being a Black woman. And I sat and she told me, she said, you underestimate yourself. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you put your mind to it. And I appreciate her for that because she has allowed me to step into different arenas that I never would have thought that I was worthy of stepping into.
Wow.
So I was working for her at one of the Fortune 500 companies. And I told her, we started hiring contractors and she goes, Jeannie, I need someone to manage the payroll. And I was like, manage payroll? I don't know how to do that. I've never done that. That's people's livelihoods. I don't want to be responsible for that. And she goes, no, I think you can do it. She said, so here you go, handle it. And I'm like, okay. So
Wow.
I was really concerned and I started doing some research. I was reaching out to people that I knew were in the payroll industry and was asking questions. I was in Georgia at the time. And I just really found out, I found out about the American Payroll Association by whim. And I called them and I started asking a lot of questions. And how do I do overtime? They're contractors. Do we have specific things we have to pay? Just standard questions based off of what my check stub looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I got thrown into it. And I was like,
Wow.
this is neat. I think I want to do this and I want to learn how to do this even more in depth. And I just really started, again, researching, learning, trying to find out from other people that are in the industry, going to different podcasts, going to different meet and greets, just asking a lot of questions.
Wow.
And one lady told me one time, she goes, you ask a lot of questions. Are you sure you're in payroll? I said, I know I'm in payroll because I am asking a lot of questions. That's just what we have to do. Payroll
That's
changes
right.
every night.
That's
So,
right.
we have to be educated. And if we're not educated in it, we can make some really bad mistakes for a company and make some liabilities go extreme.
Mhm.
Yes. Said. Yes.
For real. Yeah, I love it. I love
So
it.
we're excited to have you on. We're going to get right
Oh,
into
thank
it.
you. I'm
And,
excited to be here.
Yeah, this is awesome. So the first section that we're gonna start with is the racism piece, and then we're gonna get into the
Mhm.
sexism piece. All right. So as we know, racism and sexism are pervasive issues in many workplaces. They negatively affect individuals and undermine a positive work environment. Right. They can really impact the overall experience for the employee, and
Absolutely.
in some cases, the
Absolutely.
employer. So this we would like it's ideal for everyone to create every employer to create a inclusive and equitable workplace. And it's essential that these things are addressed immediately. So I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna start out with a stat, and then we're gonna get into the do's and don'ts of some stuff, and then we're gonna probably share some personal experiences that we may have experienced in the workplace. Okay. So
Mhm.
as far as the racism, two-thirds or 66% of employees from marginalized and racial ethnic groups said that they have experienced racism at work during their careers. Like that number seems high, but when you think about it, it's not surprising, right? 66%
Yeah.
of people from marginalized groups say they have felt some type of discrimination at work or racism.
I would
And
love to see what the other percentage answers were, because maybe I
yes,
don't want to
Absolutely.
answer. I don't want to talk about because I would imagine 100%. But go ahead.
Think would be a lot higher as well.
oh wow, okay, okay. So the found that more than half or 52% of respondents said they had experienced racism in their current job. So on the job they're at right now, over half of them said, "Yeah, I've experienced racism even in this current job that I'm at right
Wow.
now." And the survey was based in different countries: Australia, U.S., UK, Africa. So it's all over the place. It's not just in the U.S. that everybody's feeling this racism. So you want to start off with these do's, Brian, and then
Yeah. Why not?
we'll let Jeannie do the don'ts.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the things that we should be doing are number one, promote diversity,
Mhm.
encourage diverse workforce, and ensure representation at all levels of your organization. What's interesting is that they recently changed the what was it called? The law that was that
Oh,
forced
affirmative action.
affirmative action. Thank you. They recently changed that ruling, and
Supreme Court. Yeah.
that's a right. That's a big. It could go very different ways at that point. So it really is on the employer to promote diversity and be intentional about it. Number two is train and educate, provide diversity and inclusion training to all employees to raise awareness and combat biases. Yeah, it's sad that we have to do this, but yeah, I guess so. Number three is listen actively, create a safe space. This is
Mhm.
one for employees to share their experiences and actively listen to their concerns. That's tough. I don't know
Oh,
if you could do that at work.
what? Listen actively?
No, create a safe space for employees to share their experiences and that's it. Boom. Actively listen, of course, that costs nothing, but I don't know if you can do that at work, sit folks around.
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
know.
I think you could. I think it has to be well thought out. So you just
Because what
can't.
if
You
it
just
goes
can't.
wrong against that employer? What if they start saying Bill in this department last week? Like, what if it becomes a complaint, a slew of complaints? Now you have,
That's a part of the active listening, right? That's listening actively. That's
Yeah.
why you would do it, right? It's to find out those things. It's to discuss those issues. And that's the point of creating a safe space, right, Brian? Is to talk about those things, to have those hard discussions. So
yeah,
yes, that would be the place to discuss those things. Now I don't know
But
if it's
I
really.
have to disagree a little bit because I think in certain environments, especially if you are experiencing active racism,
Mhm.
a lot of individuals will not want to voice their concerns due to retaliation or
real.
some type of differential in how they're being treated. And I don't, I know I've been in situations where I didn't want to openly speak to racism, especially when I'm experiencing it. Sometimes you experience it right there in that room where they call the safe place. And you tend to step back a little bit for fear of losing your job or for fear of being mistaken, if your verbiage being mistaken and taken the wrong way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's tough. It's
Mhm.
tough, man. Because I think about my life. I don't know if I would feel safe doing that at work because it's like the anonymous survey, right? Oh, we're sending out an anonymous
Absolutely.
survey. at the end of the day, good, and they can see if they wanted to, they could see who that is. There's no
Yes.
way. So that I get scared with that. Okay. So that was number 3, listen actively. Number 4 is implement reporting mechanisms. Establish clear and confidential reporting channels for incident of racism. Yeah, that also very
that would be
that would be
ideal,
ideal, right?
but
These are all tough. This is really, you guys, yeah, this is a good tough. Okay. Number 5 is take action. Address racism promptly and appropriately when it occurs, regardless of the involved parties and positions. Yeah, it's all tough things. But these are the best practices, right? If you're a company or an organization that's going to be intentional about change and correction, these are the ones. Jeannie is going to do the don'ts. Don't do these things. And as
Yes,
you
these
go
are the things
along,
that we should not do.
yes. And as
yeah,
you go along,
And
Jeannie, if anything pops to mind about real life, you go ahead and share it.
yeah. Mhm.
absolutely. The first don't is ignoring the problem. You don't ignore or dismiss racism when it's brought to your attention. Yeah, I agree with that. But sometimes, especially with people of color, I think we've gotten so accustomed to it. And I'm not saying that we tolerate it, but it's such old hat for us that we tend to not really dismiss it, but not really recognize it the first time.
Mhm.
We tend to say, no, that's not what's happening. I don't think that's going on. You don't want to ever believe that's what's happening. But unfortunately, when it happens again and again, you're like, wait a minute, I should have said something the first time.
Yeah.
But you don't want to ever have to be the person to point that out. And unfortunately, in this day and time, we still deal with it. We deal with it every day.
Yeah.
The second is tolerating microaggressions. You
Mhm.
don't tolerate microaggressions or racially insensitive comments, even if they appear minor. Again, back to what
Like
I
what you
said.
just said. Yep.
Sometimes,
That's right.
yeah, sometimes we just don't really want to believe that it's happening. And this is why we tend to say, okay, I'm going to let this one go. I'm going to let this one slide.
Yeah.
Retaliation. This is the big one. This is the big one. You want to avoid any form of retaliation against those who report racism or discrimination.
Yes.
This is where that fear factor comes in.
Yep.
People get intimidated and they feel like I need to pay my bills. I finally got the job that I wanted. You may not be being treated well, but you finally have that job, that salary, that position that you envied over your life, and you get it. And then you find out you get racism slapped in your face. And a lot of people won't say nothing and they go into that tolerance level to just deal with it so that they don't have to be retaliated against. Number 4, we have stereotyping. Oh, wow. This is a big one. Never stereotype or make assumptions about someone based on their race or ethnicity.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will let that speak for itself.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Silencing voices. Don't silence or undermine the voices of marginalized employees. Listen and support them.
Yes.
Yeah, I think these are important. These are very important, but I think we have to have the right type of personalities in these roles that
Yes.
know how to enforce these type of situations and these rules and how to manage these types of issues, because a lot of people don't understand. Most people that are in, how do I say it, management roles that are C-level and above don't really have the people skills
Yeah.
to understand how to manage and navigate through these types of issues.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. And it reminds me of a story that I shared in one of the many episodes that we've done here in my own experiences with racism in corporate America. And I remember I had a manager, payroll manager, who I had known for years. And I thought we had a rapport and everything. And come to find out, long story short, I came across an email that he sent my peer, basically stating that Black people don't know anything or Black people are dumb.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so
Crazy.
I found out about it. I escalated it to HR, and nothing ever came of it. I remember, and I remember the feeling that I felt. It was a feeling of like feeling deflated, defeated, and insignificant, because I remember that they all crowded around the CFO's desk at this place, and they were all laughing and talking about the situation.
Oh, wow.
The CFO, the VP of HR, like everybody that you think would be that should do something, I remember that as a Black man, I felt, wow, this is really a mess. And I felt like
Mhm.
I didn't have any power or anybody to stick up for me in that moment. So I just let it go because I was like, hey, I need this job at that current time. It was paying my bills, living paycheck to paycheck, and it was difficult to try to get through. So I don't know if either of you have experienced anything like that, but it just
Mhm.
reminds me of those things that I felt like my voice was silenced.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a very emasculating move too, because
Yeah.
you are the head of your family, and this is what you use to take care of your family and make sure that your family has what it needs. And it's to me, it's very emasculating when a man can go to a superior and try to express his concerns and looking for some type of guidance, and they basically just laugh in his face. I think it's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
But this happens every day. And unfortunately, people of color, we deal with this
Mhm.
so often that we tend to have to pass it up sometimes because we don't want to take on the fight a
You
lot
got
of
to pick.
times.
He's just gonna say you got to pick your battles.
Absolutely. And it's unfortunate. And even I don't care what the smallest
Yeah.
micronism of
Yeah.
racism is, it's not
Yep.
fair and it's not okay.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we get the I get the you people a lot because I'm Puerto Rican too. Because always so Puerto Ricans are loud and we're
Absolutely.
this and we're that. I get the you people all the time, and I experienced it not on the workplace. I've gotten the well, you're so aggressive. You're so aggressive. I'm aggressive, but this one's passionate. How, we
Yeah.
just said the
Mhm,
same
mhm.
thing at the same
Where do you draw
level.
the line at?
Like
What's the difference?
how does that work? And 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 I for me, I didn't really even it wasn't I didn't understand racism until I moved to the South. I lived in New York till I was probably 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there, the seventh grade. In the seventh grade,
Mhm,
I moved to North Carolina. Shout out to Eden, North Carolina. But it was very small town, only black and white. I think there was like one Chinese family, one Indian family. And then my family is still the only Puerto Rican family in the town.
mhm.
Okay. And I was an anomaly. They were like, "What are you?" And they saw my parents, and my father's a black Puerto Rican, my mom's a white Puerto Rican. So they're like, "You're a half breed." And I was like, "What? What in the world are you talking about?" So I'm Puerto Rican from New York. You're Rican, Boricua, what's good? And then they're like, "No, you're a half breed." I was like, "What?"
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was and this is like that's when I learned about being black and white. I was like, I didn't need it because in New York it's such a melting. We're all black and white and bright
Absolutely.
shades, every shade
You can't get
between.
any more melting pot than New
You
York.
can't. This is what I'm saying. So we didn't yeah, I didn't there was none of that. So it was very different. That's when I go, oh my God, I am black and white, but I'm still Puerto Rican. So,
Yeah.
and that's when I learned my culture more and
Yeah.
understood how, but yeah, it's that I get the subtlety at work. I get the
Oh,
very
yeah.
subtle,
Oh, yeah.
he's black and it is it's a very subtle treatment, but it's nonetheless, I get like the microaggressions. That's what I get, the
Yeah.
micro and the
Yeah.
stereotyping. And just to wrap this up before we can, of course, we could share more. We want to just say for employers, y'all need to establish clear anti-racism policies. Ensure
Absolutely.
all your employees are aware of them, right? Be intentional. Support and
Yeah.
promote employee resource groups. If you're going to create a safe space, that safe space has to be amongst your employees and off-site, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then maybe we'll get there. And then for
Without
employees,
alcohol, they
yeah,
do
yes,
everything with alcohol. Alcohol
yes.
is a no. People always tell me all the time, Jeannie, why you never have a drink? Because I don't drink
That's
with my
that's
coworkers.
how I work.
That's not the thing that I do. I'm at a work event. I don't do that.
Yes. If you listen to the holiday show, I don't know where we shared. Maybe I shared it only here on Safe, but yeah, it was just here. I had a horrible experience young in my career because of alcohol and the holiday part. And I get it, Jeannie. And I just keep telling people, hey, it's a work event. It's a work event. It's a work event. Don't forget it's a work
Mhm.
event.
That can feed in to those stereotypes, right?
Absolutely.
Like, if
Oh,
you get
heck
lit,
yeah.
oh,
Of course,
Brian's
he
Puerto
got,
Rican,
yep, of
see, he's
course.
off the
Yes,
chain.
of course.
Oh,
Exactly.
Walt, Jeannie, see, they got losing. Oh, look at them.
hmm
Like, that's how those people act.
You know how that was going to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
Yes, exactly.
and then for employees, we want to engage in anti-racism training and seek allies in your workplace. And yeah, engage in anti-racism training and seek allies in your workplace. I don't
I
know.
think that
I
has to,
mean,
I think the employer has to lead that, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
think that has to be by somebody who is skilled in
Yes.
diversity training. They
Yes.
have to be almost a PhD in diversity training because
You're right.
it's
Yeah.
I don't care about a class or a certification that you got. I want to know, I need to see that
Yeah.
you really understand how important this is.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think that we need to see that authenticity when it comes around these subjects.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Report instances of racism to the appropriate channels. Yeah. If the employers set up the right channel, then yes, hopefully that can be done. It was funny. I watched SWAT. I had recently got into SWAT with
Mhm.
Shamar Moore.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it was on Netflix. So that's why I was like, oh, I like Shamar Moore. I liked him from the other show or whatever. And they did a show about it. They had they had a lot of good shows, but one of them was about that in real time, and another cop had to make a hard decision. Am I going to report these fellow cops? Because they got that blue wall and all that stuff and
Yeah.
that camaraderie and that brotherhood. And he had to make a decision because Shamar Moore was his boy and these cats were going at him. And and they thought, and he had to make that hard decision. So yeah, I'm using TV, but look,
Most
it is a
it's
great
real.
example. Yeah.
That's where those
It was
stories come from. They come
exactly.
from real life instances. Yeah,
Yes.
it's real.
Yeah. Tough one.
But the stereotyping piece for me, do you think that is strictly for people of color, or can groups like white people
Oh,
be
that's
stereotyped as well?
immediately what I thought about. So I have
Yeah.
I have insulted folks by accident because ignorance, right? Thinking, oh, stereotype and racism is only for brown people.
Mhm.
I think I did it through, oh, that's how you people do anyway. On some stuff like
Yeah.
that. And yeah. And I feel like because I have a Jewish friends. I have a lot of Jewish friends and friends from all kind of who knows where I sent it to.
Mhm.
And they didn't take it right. And they're like, what? Shoot. And I was like, oh, damn, sorry. And then like again, that's a learning moment for me. It's not just black. I just did this to somebody who was not black. Yeah.
I think it's even worse with women. We tend to do it to other women, that are in higher positions than us, or the C-suite positions. And I hate when it's another woman of color that does it to another woman of color. It drives me insane because it feels like I've surpassed you. So now you're beneath me. So now I can treat you the way they treated me when I was on my way up.
Mm.
And I don't like that. And I have had to put a few sisters in their place
Ooh, wow.
and
Really?
intelligently let them know that just because you're there now, but let's see how long you're kept there. My mother
Wow.
always told me, she said, don't ever mess with people on your way up because they're coming back down that ladder. That
right.
slide is going to be nice
Ooh.
and splintery.
Ooh.
Yes.
Like, you're going to catch a lot of splinters coming back down. And I've had situations where I've worked for people in one company and they've had to come to another company and they run into me and they have to work with me and I am their superior.
Oh,
Wow.
karma.
So,
Karma's something.
but you know what? The best thing to do when addressing that
Be good.
is nothing.
That's right.
Nothing.
That's right.
You
Be
treat them as professionally
That's
as the
right.
next mate would have treated them, like you don't even know them. And they'd be sitting there wondering with their hands on their legs, what is she gonna say? What is she gonna do? I get my revenge by
you.
them watching them be more paranoid.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Let karma take care of it. That's what I tell my family all the time. Let's just let karma take care of it. We good. You don't have to act out revenge.
Yes.
It's going,
Absolutely.
the universe will take care of that.
You reap what you sow, man.
Yeah. And as we talk about this, move right into it. Sexism is the other subject we'll talk about here. 2022 Randstad report found that 72% of women had either encountered or witnessed inappropriate behavior from male colleagues at work. The report also found that 34% of women who work mainly with men say their gender has had a negative impact.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Gender
So-
inequality in the workplace can also present itself in more nuanced ways, like fewer opportunities for women who are mothers, and a higher incidence of burnout in women. What do you think about
I think
Does
we
that
have to
resonate?
work a lot harder. I think women do have to work a lot harder. I totally believe, because I have two brothers, I have nephews, and I have heard the stories with my brothers and my nephews, because I do have an HR background in my family. We talk about these types of things all the time. And it's unfortunate My nephews and my brothers have said certain things that I'd be like, "Oh, really? You experienced that? Wow!" And they haven't done anything about that. And he's, "Oh no,
Wow.
it's the norm." And with me as a woman, I've seen a lot, and I've seen things done to people, and that Leo in me always comes out and says, I always fight for the underdog. And if
Yes, you
I
guys
see
do.
something, I'm
That's
going to
right.
say something. I'm going to say
Yeah.
something. And that's where I say that I'm vocal. I feel like right is right. And if you're seeing something and that is not okay, and somebody's being treated, put yourself in that position and say, you know what, I want somebody to say something for me. Am I just
Want to
not
champion.
going to say anything? Even if I don't say it vocally to a group of people, I'm going to go to that person who's causing that pain and say, you know what? I need to let you know that you're not right. You know
All
what
right,
you're
right.
doing is not. So
Wow.
I just want you to know that you do what you want, but I'm just telling you, I'm not down with this. I don't like this.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Jeannie.
Yep.
So we're gonna get into the do's and don'ts of sexism.
Okay, the dues is equal pay and opportunities. Yes. Ensure that all employees resolve equal pay for the equal work and equal opportunities for advancement. Absolutely.
Yes,
I
agreed.
don't care what your gender, what your skill level, especially now, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to take you here. You have individuals like myself who were not really professionally trained in payroll,
None of us were,
but
but go ahead.
but they want me to train someone who has the 5 degrees and the 85 certifications and bringing them in above 6 salaries.
Yep.
But you're paying me,
Yep.
but you
Yes.
want me to train them. And Jeannie, make sure you get them trained well and show them everything. And then this person gets promoted over me.
Yep.
That I do not like. I do not like. So I have changed my perspective on that. And I have decided, okay, if this is what's going to take place, because I see it happening, I'm going to hand them my binder
Yep.
and I'm going to let you have my binder and have at it like I had at
Yep.
it.
That's right.
That's it. This is what I did. And if you have questions, just ask me. How about that? But the thorough trainings, I don't engage in those anymore. Number 2, challenge stereotype. Encourage an environment where stereotypes about gender roles are challenged and dismantled. Yes, I think that is a plus. It's a definite. Mentorship and sponsorship programs for underrepresented genders. I think that's perfect. I think that's great. I think we don't have a lot of mentorship
Yeah.
in
No,
business.
not. Yeah. That's
We
true.
really don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Family friendly policies, implement family friendly policies such as flexible work hours and parental leave. Yes. Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Because COVID showed a lot of businesses that payroll can be done anywhere.
That's right.
It
Yeah.
can.
Yes, ma'am.
We have
Yes,
so
ma'am.
many. We have so many app friendly platforms. We
Yep.
have so many things that have progressed in payroll where we can do things from home. We don't have to be sitting at your desk to manage your payroll.
If it's done
I
perfectly
say
secure.
that with emphasis. Yes. Number 5, we have address harassment. Take all forms of sexual harassment seriously and have a clear procedure for reporting and addressing it. I
Yeah.
agree with that. I think a lot of companies have implemented anti-harassment policies and programs, and they have you watch the 4-hour training
Yeah.
and things of that nature. But I think harassment training should be also implemented outside of a video.
Yeah.
I think there
Agreed.
needs to be some face to face. There
Yep.
needs to be some understanding that it's not going to be tolerated in any form.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I totally agree with you. And I don't know if both of you agree with me on this point, but I feel like some companies have gone away from that video training. I haven't seen it as much like in recent years when I've gone
Mhm.
the job. They really haven't addressed it. It's in the handbook,
Right.
but
Well,
you
I
can
do a
do
lot of
handbook.
contracting. I do a lot of contracting, and I'm still seeing it. I'm still seeing it.
wow.
It's like a video training, and you have to, it's actually a part of the handbook. You're not
Right.
really, you have 90 days to take this training. If you don't take the training,
Oh,
a lot of
oh,
times they offboard you.
oh,
So I
Oh,
can
that's
see
good.
where the implementation of it is being enforced. However, again, I say video is not always the best teacher. You have to
no,
get
not
in
at
people
all.
face times and let them know that, look, Bottom line is, if you're caught doing this, this will be your last day.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right. All of this stuff, it's got to be repetitive on a good cadence and constant reinforcement.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. I worked for one place where they made us do it. They had us do it every year. We had to
Yeah,
watch
you
the
should.
videos every year.
You should.
Okay.
Mhm.
You should.
It's-
Yeah. So I'm gonna get into the adults. And
Yes.
then we're gonna go from there. So number one, discrimination. Don't discriminate, guys.
Yeah.
In hiring, promotions, don't do people wrong because they're different. They talk,
Absolutely.
look different, especially when it comes to the gender. Come on, don't do that.
Have you guys experienced that? I know I have. I've been in roles where I've been discriminated for being a woman. I've been discriminated
Yeah.
against for being a woman. And our salaries were vastly different. And how they thought I was never going to see that doing payroll was amazing to me.
That's just gonna say, like, I can do the payroll. I see what this person, my equal, is making. Hello.
Yeah.
I actually had I'm sorry, real quick. I had a example of the reverse, which was great. When I walked into a job, I became someone's boss, but our overarching boss told me right out the gate, he said, "Hey, listen, when you see this one's salary, please understand they've been here for 20 plus years. Their salary is commensurate. It's more than yours." And I was like, understood, as it should be. And it was a female. You know what? And you know what? It was a brown female. So I was like, as it should be. You know what I mean? And he's like, you are her boss, but she make more than you. And I was good with that.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. And
that's the way it should have happened.
For 20 years, best you should have.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so great share, Brian. That's a great story. To what Jeannie asked us, if we experienced that based on our gender, I've experienced like the microaggression part of it, right? Say there's someone who has a woman or a different gender that has a feeling about men, and they say, "Oh, men are trash, men are this, men are that, men are terrible," and that came through on the job, and they gave every man a certain attitude. Well, hey, I said good morning to you, and they roll their eyes and make all these little slick comments and stuff in meetings, like, "Oh, you're a man," and just not even in a joking way, but just to kind of like
quickly,
diminish.
don't mansplain me. Don't mansplain.
To diminish those things. So it can work
like-
both ways. Yeah, it definitely can work both ways. So yeah, like
I've
totally
gotten it.
understand.
I've gotten it to, and did little stuff. Like I remember once I had went out with our CFO for lunch or whatever, and mind you, I report to the CFO, the team reports to me, but we were males, the rest of the team females, and they took it away. Honestly, it was just a building between us. A new boss for me. It was a bonding moment for us. It had nothing to do with gender. You know what I mean? But yet I came back and, "Oh, boys club, I see." And I was like, "Oh, no, that's not what it was." You know what I mean? We just trying to get to know each other. And then we quickly followed up with a team luncheon bonding and all that stuff. And they were fine. They were like, "All right, cool. It wasn't boys club." No, it was not. But they didn't hesitate. I was in New York. I probably experienced it and don't even know. I wasn't always good at picking up on subtleties. So yeah, who knows what I've been victim to and didn't even know it. But yeah.
Number two, gender-based comments. Avoid making gender-based comments or jokes that make other people feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Stuff, right? Number three. Go ahead. What you gotta say?
I think it just highlights a basic HR rule in general. Because if people say, "Oh, but what's offensive then?" If somebody is offended by it, then it was offensive.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to make sense to you.
If you have to think about it before you say it, it's going to be offensive.
There you go.
Yes.
There you
Yes.
go. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Yes. It's number three, ignoring harassment. Don't ignore or tolerate. Again, don't ignore or tolerate any form of sexual harassment. People don't understand. I work with people who thought, "Oh, I didn't touch her." It's not about you touching somebody. You could
It'd be words.
It
could be
it's not
look.
just- It could be a look. You could just like
Could be
you could just
body
look at somebody,
language.
like stare
Yep.
somebody up and down and make them
Absolutely.
feel like,
Yes.
"Ugh, why
You
you looking
what
at
did
me
what
like-"
do they say? You've undressed me with your eyes. Right.
Yes, and people do that, and I think you have to be mindful of all that.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Number four, gender stereotyping, where you stereotype based on a person's gender. Like you
Yep.
said before, oh, you're a man. This
Mhm.
I'm gonna lump you with these
You
men.
must be this or whatever.
You-
Yep.
You're a man of color. I'm gonna lump you in. You're a woman of color. You're this. Or you're non-binary. I'm gonna lump you in with this. Whatever you
Yes,
are, I'm gonna lump you in this way and stereotype you based on my own experiences.
absolutely.
So don't do that. And then number 5, unequal treatment. Don't treat employees differently based on their gender. Provide the same opportunities and the same support. So the way that Brian treats me should be the same way that he treats Jeannie, right?
That's right.
Mhm.
Wait, the way that Jeannie treats me should be the same way that she treats Brian or someone else, right? It shouldn't be
Absolutely.
based on any of their choices outside, because at the end of the day, we're here to do a job and we're a team and we're here to work together. And we should not be harassing anyone or judging anyone based on their
Right.
choices, right? So,
Absolutely.
all right. So for employers, conduct regular pay equity analysis to ensure gender pay gaps are addressed. Create clear anti-sexism policies that includes reporting and support mechanisms. Sometimes I think employers, where they miss the mark is that they'll have some verbiage, but they don't explain that, hey, if you have an event, this is what you should do. This is how you should do it. They don't tell you anything. They say, oh, just don't do this. And that's it. They don't explain
Mhm.
proper channels and stuff like that you can go through and who can provide support to you.
Yeah.
Right.
For the employees, support and advocate for gender equality within the workplace. Report any instances of sexism or sexual harassment promptly. Sometimes somebody else might not want to say anything because they don't want to lose their job. There's that fear of retaliation, like you spoke to
Yes.
earlier,
Yeah.
Jeannie, right?
Right.
But it may take someone else speaking up for the other person and saying, hey, this happened, right? This happened. I remember there was a case with me where it was my birthday, and this woman made a comment like, hey, you want me to jump out of a cake butt naked?
Oh my God. At work they said that?
Yes, at
Oh my
work.
God.
And then the one lady that was with her was, girl, what are you doing? Did you just say that? And everybody was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that she said that.
For real.
My
Out
goodness.
loud. Yeah, like out loud. I was just like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, Brian, I see you write some notes here. What do you have to
Yeah,
say?
I didn't want to forget. I thought about it a few times now. As far as pay equity is concerned, the gap is closing. As far as survey says that the gap is closing, we're getting there. But the sad part is we're not there yet, right? We should be
Yeah.
there. And then one of the things that's helping with that is the pay transparency laws that are getting implemented across states, right? Where jobs have to post the range for that job. Does not
They're still
mean
in the learning stages of that. They are
yes,
still in the learning stages of that.
yes, they are. You're
So
right.
I look out
Right.
all the time for open positions and just to see what's out there, see
Oh
what the
yeah,
market
absolutely. You
is.
have to. Yep.
And unfortunately, a lot of employers have not reached that goal yet where they are starting to disclose what those salary ranges
those
are.
ranges.
Me, I feel like you're
Because it's
trying
still
to hide
state by state.
something
Yes.
from me. We already in the payroll business. We're already
Yes.
miscategorized when it comes
That's
to
right.
different positions.
Right.
They want you to bring all of your payroll knowledge, your binder, your every training that you had to their
To their
to their
job. To their
business
business. Yeah.
and want to pay you $26 an hour.
Uh-huh.
And that's not okay. We need to make sure that businesses are educated on what role fits what category and what level of
Right.
payroll.
That's
They need
right.
to understand that what a payroll clerk does, what a payroll
Right.
specialist does, what a payroll administrator
Coordinator,
does,
administrator. Yes.
manager, all of those people, all of those roles, there are different levels
Yep.
for a reason.
Yep.
Pay people appropriately.
That's right. I had to tell a boss once in negotiations, I said, look, the title's payroll manager, but I'm pricing you at director.
Mm-hmm.
You can call me the janitor for all I care, but you're getting priced at director.
Absolutely.
And it's because of that, Jenny, right? It's because the titles, it's not like in accounting, there's more like a hierarchy of things, right?
Yes.
You're a staff
Yes.
accountant, you're a junior staffer, you're a senior staff accountant,
Yes.
you're an assistant controller. Right? It's everybody knows in the industry what those titles are, where that level is. But when you get into
Yes.
payroll, you're a payroll administrator, coordinator, specialist, clerk, analyst. Those 5 could be the same exact job.
Exactly.
Manager, director, VP could be the same exact job.
Exactly.
So it's really understanding how those titles are, and that's a whole nother show because we talked about it a bunch. And I'm sorry, get worked up, folks. I'm sorry.
I feel your pain. I feel you.
My bad, Walt. Go ahead. Yeah, so I just
No,
wanted to
no, you're
point
good.
out those two things that we're getting there, but it's still not there yet, and that's the sad part.
So, in conclusion, addressing racism and sexism at work is crucial for creating a inclusive and equitable work environment. Employers and
Absolutely.
employees must work together to combat these issues through education, policy implementation, and active support for those affected by said discrimination, right? By following these do's and don'ts, workplaces can become more diverse, respectful, and productive environments for everyone.
Absolutely.
Because how many people have left their job
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes.
because of being
Yes.
discriminated against? Right?
My niece just went through this. And like you said, it was from another brown woman.
Yes.
And she was so hurt by this experience. Like her hair was getting judged. Like she literally said, like when she went in the first day with her hair straight, the boss was like, "Oh my gosh, what a difference!" Like complimenting
wow.
that, yeah, complimenting that, but not the curly hair that she wore. It was what? But she was hurt, man. It was a very tough experience for
It's
her.
traumatic.
Yeah,
Be very
it
traumatic.
was.
And,
It
and
was.
people don't understand that. It's a level of trauma
Yep.
that we deal with. We're people of color. We have that trauma that we deal with every day.
Every day.
What's going to happen to us?
Yeah.
What's going to happen today? What are we going to have to be challenged with today? And now I come to work, you're telling me that my hair is not good enough.
Yep.
Come on. And women, we do this, especially, I'm going to say Black women, we tend to change our hair every day. I know I do. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, so I do it all the time. I mean, my hair might be blonde today, and then I might have tresses rolling down my back. I might have braids the third day. So get used to that because it's called diversity. It's called diversity. It's called, I might have a wig on tomorrow. You might see a lot of different versions of Jeannie. Don't be concerned about my exterior.
Yep.
Worry about what I bring to the role and how I produce and pretty much grow your business.
Yeah.
Concentrate on that. Quit worrying about what I look like and what kind of hair I'm going to be wearing tomorrow.
We still have this, that you still see cases in the news today about folks being discriminated against because of their hair at
Absolutely.
work, at school,
That's crazy, right?
children at
God.
school, grown people that like, what are you talking about? The only thing that I could say that needs to be addressed in social settings is hygiene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hygiene. And
It
even
affects the entire environment. It
Right.
affects everyone around you. So I totally agree with
strong cologne, right? You wearing a strong
Yeah.
whoa. All right, Rico Suave. You
And
can't-
see, yes, man. And then sometimes people can feel harassment based on what somebody else wears, right? So you can make
Yeah.
somebody
Absolutely.
uncomfortable
That's right.
by what you have on. If you wear
That's right.
something too revealing,
Mhm.
there was this one guy I worked with, they used to call him Mr. Tight Pants, and everybody could see his business.
Oh
know,
my
like-
God.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So like,
that's
and
not
that
the place.
made people uncomfortable.
Yes.
Well, like,
Absolutely.
Yes.
sir, like you got to get that fit. Like, come
Go
on,
that
man.
way, dude.
Yeah, like, come
Like,
on,
sir, I do not want to see that. Here we go up with couple of sizes here.
man.
Yeah,
That's the
what
same
folks
with
have to say.
women. Women
Yep.
come to work with the tight skirts
Yep.
on, and,
Or-
and it's like you can barely breathe. They can
Yep.
barely breathe. And it's okay, sister. You can be cute. You don't have to come in here with you can't breathe out through your clothes and everything. Your jacket 2 sizes too small. Let's respect ourselves
yeah.
and you come in here with some self-respect and present yourself. My mother always told me, don't give people a reason to mess with you.
That's right.
You go in and you do your
right.
job and you
That's
do
what I try
it
to tell my
well.
kids now. Yep.
Absolutely. Go in there,
Why?
present yourself a
Yep.
certain way you want to be presented. But at the same time, get a full length mirror before you leave out of that house. Because I know you saw what you look like.
That's right.
I seen it.
Yep. That's right.
Yep.
And I've been
Absolutely.
places that we've had to implement dress codes because of that.
Yes.
And because it's people like, whoa, holy cow. When other women making that call, that person is way out of line.
Absolutely. I just think it's a lot of us. You have a woman that's very well put together. She's voluptuous and I'm a voluptuous woman, so I understand how hard that can be, how challenging that can be to put on the right outfits and things of that nature. But you have to be mindful of the fact that you cannot come to work offensively. You
Yep.
have to make sure that your clothes are fitting enough to where you're not seeing every single line, every single curve.
Exactly.
We're not there for that. We're not there for
Exactly.
that.
My wife talks sometimes, and they only wear scrubs, right? But sometimes they're too tight. So they have a phrase called club scrubs. They're not going to the club in
Club
these things.
scrubs.
Club scrubs, yes. I was gonna say I've seen some scrubs that were really tight. They need to be like,
And then
we from those.
yep, she's the manager, so she's had to send people home because sometimes if it's in white and you don't wear underwear, what you doing? You a nerd? Like, what are you doing?
Absolutely.
Like you said, you didn't look in the mirror. You didn't look in the mirror when you left.
I know you saw that
I
because
know
I
you
see
saw
it.
it.
You
Exactly.
saw it before you left because I didn't feel that when women wear tight clothing, a lot of times they are very comfortable in their own skin. They are very proud of their bodies.
Sure.
So when you are dressing in the morning, if you did not turn around and do that little pivot to make sure
That's
that
right.
everything was the
That's right.
sister, go back home and start over.
That's
Because
right.
trust me, it's not gonna work today.
It's
It's
not
not
it.
gonna work.
It's not it. Oh gosh. Jeannie,
Oh, man.
I know I loved having you. Thank you so much
Yeah, we
for
did.
being a
Thank you.
part
I
of the
enjoyed
show.
it, guys.
Oh, you have an open invitation, so we'll stay
Oh,
in
thank
touch.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
Thank you.
come on back. We need
This is the
female
kind of
corner
thing I
seat.
love. I love doing this kind of stuff. So I would love to come back again. This is
Absolutely.
amazing. I enjoyed myself.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll keep in touch in a few weeks down. We'll get the next subject. And maybe you could come on the main show too.
Yeah.
We'll just keep it lighthearted by
Love it.
payroll. Yeah. Come on the main show.
Love it.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jeannie. We'll give you back
Thank
on it.
you.
Have a great day.
You guys
Enjoy
have
your
a good day,
Sunday.
okay?
Thank
You
you.
too.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Before we sign off, here are a couple quick things. Don't forget to follow It's About Payroll on LinkedIn and It's About Your Paycheck on Facebook and TikTok.
Thank you for being part of our payroll community, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.